Oh, we're going to break some news today. I have the CEO of Fanatics Collectibles, Mike Mahan, coming on the show. We're going to talk about the future plans of Fanatics and Topps. We're going to hear about how things have gone recently, where they're going, where the hobby's going, and we're going to get some breaking news nuggets along the way, product innovations that you can expect in the future. This is going to be an enticing interview. Make sure to listen to the whole thing. Mike Mahan from Fanatics Collectibles. Let's bring him on now. This episode is brought to you by Arena Club. Arena Club is an innovative platform featuring grading and authentication, vaulting, and digital pack openings. Be sure to check out the amazing items up for auction right now at Arena Club. From rare cards to top-tier collectibles, there's something for you at Arena Club. Download the Arena Club app today by searching Arena Club in the App Store on your phone, and then use promo code SCI for 10% off your first purchase of cards at Arena Club. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Geoff Wilson Show.
Thanks, Geoff. Good to see you.
It's great to see you. It's an honor to have you on, and I'm just going to jump right in today because I know you got a busy schedule. I want to ask you right off the bat, a few years ago, I remember being at the Topps conference. I think it was the one in Arizona, and you talked about this lofty goal that, Fanatics Collectibles had to grow the number of collectors in the sports card hobby. I think the number 10x was thrown out there, right? I think that was the moment where that was thrown out. It's been talked about a lot since then. It's been a few years. It feels like there's a ton of momentum in the sports card hobby right now. But how do you feel like the overall growth has been, and where do you see it continuing to go?
I think the growth has been incredible. I really do. I think there were a lot of questions coming out of COVID, whether we could maintain the momentum or, like a lot of businesses and industries, you would regress to pre-COVID norms. And it's very clear that our best days are right now, and I think our best days are firmly ahead of us. I think we are at the beginning of a movement. You're seeing so many people enter in the world of collecting. You're seeing young people. You're seeing people come in that hadn't been in it in 20 years. You're seeing all these athletes and celebrities participating. So I would tell you, I think there's a real movement behind collecting right now. I think we're at the beginning of the beginning, and I think our best days are firmly ahead of us.
It feels that way, and the timing of this, I think, is certainly good for you guys because the NFL and the NBA licenses aren't too far away now, right? We've seen Topps come out with football products and basketball products unlicensed in terms of we don't have the team logos on them with these recent releases. But I think it's later this year that you get NBA, early next year that you get NFL. What is that looking like, and how are you gearing up for that?
Well, I think it's instructive to first talk about baseball, right? We took baseball from, a distant third behind football and basketball to a decisive number one. And there were a lot of reasons for that, right? Product innovation, marketing, much more attention to detail and quality control, not perfect, but certainly improving, finding different ways to connect you to athletes, moments, teams, etc. So bringing those things to life in baseball, a lot of that playbook we will adapt for basketball and football. Now, there'll be some unique things we do for each of those sports as well. But a lot of the things that we've done, I think, to advance the hobby and excite collectors, we're going to apply that same playbook to football and basketball. So couldn't be more excited about it. Strong rookie class, Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper. Basketball is going to be a big launch, I think. It's going to be fun.
Do we have a date for when we're going to see the first officially licensed Topps basketball release come?
It'll be sometime early October.
Okay.
Whether it's October 1st or the first week, but it'll be early October.
Good. All right. And as you said, Cooper Flagg, what a great rookie, theoretically, I assume he's not coming back to Duke. I assume this guy's going to be in NBA or next year. You never know, though, with NIL. You never know. But I'm sure you'll have him covered with cards either way.
Either way, we'll be featuring Cooper Flagg for sure.
Should collectors expect to see a lot of the things that we've seen in baseball, like a lot of the similar sets and innovations, are those going to carry over to basketball and then next year to football when those cards come out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that collectors have responded positively to a lot of things that we've done, and we want to keep that going, right? I think that nothing more than the debut patch, in terms of the I don't want to say, I would say enthusiasm, right? There's been a ton of enthusiasm around the debut patch because it really is connecting you in an authentic way to that first moment a player steps on the field. And I think we would look to do the same thing when the first time a player steps on the court or the first time a player steps on the field in the NFL. So we're ready with that. We're ready with a lot of other things. And I think collectors are going to be very happy with what we have in store.
Okay, well that's big news. So Mike, are you officially confirming that there will potentially be a Cooper Flag NBA debut patch, which may end up in a product sometime next year?
I like that. I'm confirming that there potentially will be. I like that.
Well, I have to say potentially because we don't officially know if this guy's going into the NBA, but we assume he is. But if he does, we'll see an NBA debut patch. It sounds like
that's the expectation.
That it would be absolutely incredible. That's going to be a lot of fun.
When we're ready to officially announce it, we will let you know.
Okay. That's good. All right. Well, I appreciate the little preview insight. Collectors have been curious about that, I know, because these MLB debut patches. Would you say the MLB debut patches, and we're obviously seeing the Skeens one right now at Fanatics Collect, the auction going absolutely berserk. Do you think that's the best single innovation that Topps has brought into play here in recent years?
I think it's hard to argue otherwise. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we've done for collectors at various price points and at various levels. And so I think but the debut patch is clearly the highest profile initiative that we've put out there. And it's really brought a lot of people into the world of collecting. And I was thinking about the other day, when you think about the Paul Skeens card, it's really captured the imagination and permeated its way into the zeitgeist, I think more so than any other one-of-one card I can think of. Right? I'm not saying it's the most valuable one-of-one card in history, okay? But I am saying that when you think about a card that has notoriety, I can't think of anything bigger in modern cards than that Paul Skeens card. So I think, given the amount of attention it's had, given, some of the controversy that hopefully by now has been dispelled, I think that I would expect there to be a lot of interest in it for sure.
Well, I agree. I agree. The only recent card that I think could give it a run for its money is that USA Basketball triple auto that was such a big deal. Any update on this, Mike? Has it ever been redeemed? Is it still like sitting in the Topps vault waiting for a collector to redeem it?
Here's the good news. The good news is we actually audited the process when we put it out. So I know that the redemption was sent out. Where it is, we still do not know. And
incredible.
So at this point, look, I do expect it to be redeemed at some point. I don't know whether it's been pulled and somebody's waiting or whether it's in a pack. But as you know, these redemptions now last for 10 years. So if it doesn't get redeemed within 10 years, at that point we'll reassess and we'll put it back in a pack. But I do expect it to get redeemed. I do expect it to be found. But I know about as much as you do in terms of where and when.
What an incredible chase that will be in 10 years if that just ends up in another product wow. It could be the whole thing all over again. Is there a chance collectors are going to get to see that card in person? Can we put it on display? Can we put it on the wall here in Cards HQ perhaps and just have it safely there for the next 10 years while it's waiting to be redeemed?
I like the suggestion, but we'll see. It's a good idea. I don't know that it'll make its way to HQ, but putting it on display is a good idea.
I would love to see it. Maybe it can be there at the National. We'll get some video of that. That'd be fun. All right, we talked about NFL, we talked about NBA, but you guys have been aggressive with acquiring other licenses recently as well. I know you've had products from like WWF and UFC come online. You've got Premier League. You've got NIL deals with individual athletes. Are you done expanding the empire, or is there more leagues and licenses and that type of thing that you guys are continuing to pursue?
We've got a lot to do, but we're always opportunistic when we think we can add value, when we think we can delight collectors, when we think we can grow the pie for the hobby and really service collectors in the way that hopefully people are becoming accustomed to, then we will absolutely pursue those rights. But nothing that we have identified today and nothing that I can talk about.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you an off-the-wall one, right? I don't know if you pay much attention to what's going on in the trading card game market. Pokemon has been unbelievably hot over the course of the last several months, flying off the shelves here at Cards HQ. There was a time many years ago, from 1999 through 2004, Topps actually partnered with Pokemon and created 11 different Pokemon card sets. Is there any chance that in the future we could see some type of Topps and Pokemon collaboration again?
We'd be very open to it. So let's see what the future brings.
Okay. All right. We'll get the Pokemon people on the phone. I think that would be pretty cool to see. I know you guys are doing some other stuff, right? Like you've got like V Friends, I think that's coming out in collaboration with Gary V here pretty soon.
Yep, we're excited about that. He's got a real audience, and we think that can be a big product, and he's got a lot of really good things in store. So we're excited to help bring that to market.
Let's talk about the global growth of the hobby. I know this is something that I think you guys are really focused on, and we've got this London Fanatics flagship store, which is opening. And tell me about that. What are you guys seeing over in Europe, and what's the investment you guys are putting in over there?
It's the fastest growing part of our business. And you think about all the sports fans, how rabid they are about soccer, and they are now starting to express that fandom and that passion through trading cards, which is awesome. But here's the problem, right? If they don't have availability of cards, if they don't have the ability to purchase, the ability to have community in and around cards, then it's not ever going to take off the way that it has in the United States. So unlike in the United States, you have 1,000 hobby shops. So there's plenty of places to buy cards. There's plenty of places to learn about cards. There's plenty of places to have that community. Europe just doesn't have it. It's underdeveloped. So we want to build that flagship store to really demonstrate what a card shop should be and bring that sense of community to life. So we're excited about it. And we really think it's going to be a flagship store that's going to draw a lot of interest, a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot of athletes in and around it. And I think it's going to symbolize that this is a growing market. This is a growing space. And I expect Europe to be very big for many years to come in the world of collecting.
How do you grow the market, grow globally, satisfy the European consumers with more product availability for them, and yet not water it all down, not get back into the junk wax era where there's so many cards printed? Like, how do you possibly balance expansion with the perils that can come from overprinting?
Yeah, well, it's the big existential question, right? You have this intractable tension. If you make too many cards, you've got junk wax era 2.0. If you make too few cards, it's inaccessible to many people and prices go way up. And how do you have that balance? And we talk about it every day. And ultimately, where we land on that is product segmentation. You have products that are meant to be accessible at a certain price point, and we will essentially have an increase in volume to meet that demand. Now, there'll still be the one-of-ones and the parallels and things that have value within those sets, but we want those sets to be affordable and accessible. Then you have some of the high-end stuff where if there's more demand, it's just we're not going to increase the volume and it's going to show up in price. And that's okay, right? And there's everything in between. So we try to get that balance right. If you ask 10 different people, there's 12 different opinions on the right place to draw those lines, and that's okay, right? Not every product is going to be for everyone. Not everyone has to agree with every decision, but we're very conscious of how we make it accessible for people in terms of price, how we make it intuitive for people that are new collecting, and you obviously want it to be affordability is a big part of a beginning collecting journey. And then we also want to maintain that scarcity, that value, and not repeat the sins of the past. So it's always a delicate balance. We're very focused on it, and it's something we talk about all the time.
I think collectors, one way that it's showing up for collectors that I think there's a lot of folks worried about is like the number of parallels. You look at these checklists now for some of the new sets that are coming out. There's way more parallels than there were even a few years ago, right? A lot more inserts, a lot more stuff in there. And I know part of the reason for that is to be able to, more is being printed, but we got to give, people the opportunity to hit the chase cards. You don't want to open up a box and have absolutely nothing exciting in it. So you're trying to maintain that balance. But as you're approaching like the individual product level, how are the decisions made around the checklist? And like, are we expanding the number of parallels this year? What exactly is going into this particular product?
Yeah, I think you're going to see this year a lot more focus on inserts and a lot more thoughtful storytelling around those inserts in terms of what they mean, why they exist, how they're organized. Obviously, you don't want to add parallels ad infinitum, right? You can't just continue to add parallels forever. So you have to have the right balance. You have to have the right number of parallels where people can still get a hit, they can still get a certain card, it's still accessible, but not so many that it waters it down. And so, rather than debate any particular instance, I can tell you that we're very focused on achieving the right balance. And we expect a lot of disagreement around it, right? We expect a lot of people to say, hey, I wish there'd be fewer parallels, or hey, I wish there'd be more so I could feel like I'd get a hit. But ultimately, if we have a product that services everyone, if we have those products that are scarce and super selective, and we have those products that are accessible and more affordable and everything in between, I think we're doing it right. And I will say this, the market seems to be responding to what we are doing, right? If you look at not only the growth in the hobby, you look at the growth in our business, but you look at how strong baseball has been relative to the other two sports. Not to say we're doing everything perfectly, but it is, in our view, affirmation that people are excited about the things that we're doing.
Yeah, we definitely have seen a lot of that, which is awesome. And you talked about inserts. There has seemed, as a collector, I have seen a increased commitment from Topps to make better short print type inserts. I really like the radiating rookies. I think Helix is pretty cool. There's been more of that recently. What is the design process that goes into that? Like, how do you guys come together and say, hey, we want to really ramp up the inserts this year, which is, something that you said is a goal?
Yeah, I think that what has happened in the past is there's been a lot of different inserts for different collections, and we haven't really organized to say these are the key inserts that we want to get behind as a company and really want to put the most thought and the most attention to detail and the marketing machine behind. And so you're going to see what I'll call some featured inserts where we're going to be really throwing our weight behind certain inserts. We're excited about it, and we've put in a lot of thought and attention to detail. So it's internally, to answer your question directly, it's really a collaborative effort across a key group of stakeholders within the company to say, okay, how do we pursue excellence? How do we make these inserts great? And then we all offer input. We come to a consensus, and hopefully people like what they see. And if they do, great, we lean into it. If they don't, then we'll take the feedback, refine, and get it right the next time. But I'm very excited, very confident about some of the things we have coming out.
I'm excited to see it. And will we see consistency across baseball, basketball, and football when we eventually move into that era where you have all three licenses?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of consistency, a lot of standardization, because it's just Chrome, for example, should have defining features across the portfolio. Series 1 should have defining features across the portfolio. And so we want to err on the side of consistency. Now, each sport has unique storytelling items, unique athletes, unique culture, and so we're going to lean into that, right? It's not going to be the exact same thing, but in terms of the spectrum, you're going to have more standardization in the future than you do today.
And will that consistency also apply like to the numbering system for parallels with different colors? I noticed like recently with Topps Now, you guys revised that so that, a red is out of 5, like what you would expect to see in other sets.
Yeah, there will be some exceptions where there's tradition, like the black parallel, for example, but you will have consistency will be the default. So unless something has a reason for being in a specific history where there's a one-off in a Heritage or a Series 1 or something like that, we'll leave that be. But otherwise, we are going to default to consistency. So when you get a red or you get a black or you get a blue, you should know what that is intuitively, regardless of the product that you're buying.
A couple final questions, Mike. I'll get you out of here. With everything that's gone well, all this growth over the last few years, I'm curious, what do you wish would have gone better? What is something that maybe has been a roadblock or a challenge when it comes to achieving what you want to be able to achieve as an organization?
Yeah, I think operationally we still have a lot of things to do to catch up relative to the level of demand. I mean, if you think about what happened in COVID, you had this explosion in demand, and you had an infrastructure that wasn't built for it. And so you had all these delays, all these quality control issues, and people were doing everything they could just to get product out the door to service the demand. Well, what's happened since then, right? Demand has only continued to go up, and we've been investing in quality control, investing in infrastructure, investing in operations as fast as humanly possible to meet the expectations of collectors. But it takes time. And so we are working as hard as we can to get that right. But right now there's still too many, although they're much more infrequent, there's too many quality control issues. Although they're much more infrequent, there's too many product delays. Although it's much more infrequent, there's too many calls to customer service. So we are improving, but for my taste, we're not improving rapidly enough, and we are aggressively focused on enhancing the collector experience, right? That is our North Star. So I want to continue to get better, and we have a great team that's really leaning into this, and they have a real mandate to know that whatever we can do to service the collector, that's what we will do, and we will do so as well and as quickly as we possibly can. So I would tell you that is a work in process. We're always trying to get better creatively and bring new innovations and new products to market. I'm really excited about some of the things that we have coming. So I would say we're doing a very good job there, but there's always more to do. I think the marketing that we've done, by and large, has been really well received, but I want to do more of it, right? I think there's still more that we can do in terms of volume and the number of creative videos that we surface. So I think there's a lot to do. I'm excited about where we are today, but I'm even more excited about where we go in the future.
Cool. All right. Final question, Mike. For the collectors listening, give us a little nugget of something that collector. I gotta have a little nugget. I gotta have a little info. Something collectors should be excited about here in the months ahead.
How about this? I got one for you. I'm not going to reveal everything, but I think that you should let your imagination wander about the things that we can do across sport when we have all the licenses.
Interesting.
You think about putting the GOATs across sports on the same cards, fully licensed. People should be very excited about what we have coming there.
Ooh. All right. All right. You heard it here first.
Big.
I like this,
That's
Mike.
Pretty big.
That could be really big. That could create a whole new level of chase card.
There will be some very special cards that we're going to bring to life.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to hear more. I know you got a busy schedule. I'm going to let you get back to it. Thank you, Mike, for joining, and I look forward to seeing you at the Topps Industry Conference here coming up in a month or so.
Great to see you. Thanks for everything you do across the hobby, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, Mike.
Hey, Geoff.
All right, that was a fun interview. What did you think? Let me know in the YouTube comments if you are listening on YouTube. And of course, you can listen to this show no matter where you are because the podcast form is available as well on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Just search for The Geoff Wilson Show. Make sure to subscribe there. And of course, subscribe on YouTube as well to The Geoff Wilson Show channel on YouTube. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you soon with our next episode. Take care.